Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game.
So, beginning of the season in like early November, I had a hunter in and found a pretty decent track and caught the lion that day. It took us all day to get to it. Made it to the tree, and the guy's like, that's a good one. I'm like, it's a tom, but I can get you a bigger cat.
Mm-hmm.
So we passed up that one. And then the second day, we cut tracks pretty early, and I followed the tracks right to a scratch. And so right away I knew it was this big tom. And I caught him last year.
Okay.
And same spot, and turned the dogs out, and he made the same loops that he made last year. Last year he beat us. It was an all-day deal. But this year he kept doing the same loops. I was watching the GPS. The dogs came right back on their same tracks. I'm like, what is going on? And they probably did 8 loops on the same track. And
that's a lot for
a cat.
For a mountain lion.
Yeah.
That sounds more like a bobcat track.
It was, normally a big cat like that, and the way they were moving it, I was like, we've got this. But it was just nonstop, just circle after circle, and in a big canyon with some big ledges and stuff. So, he could have slipped away, but I got down in there, and that was the same big cat from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him last year, but never got him in a tree. But this year, we got him. That's that cat right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How big was he? He looks hefty.
He's a big cat, yeah.
You weigh him?
I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Do you end up having to pack most of yours out, or?
Usually just skin them right there and carry them out. When I used to work in Colorado, we had to pack them out.
Mm-hmm.
They made you take everything.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, Utah, you can just skin them. And actually, they took a lot of their meat.
Mm-hmm.
He was sending me pictures, and he got home and was making pork tenderloin. And
there you go.
Yeah, he's like, I overcooked this one, but the next one I'm gonna get just right.
Yeah.
But that was just a big old cat that I had history with, and they wanted to kill. And there's one more on the mountain right now that I caught twice last year, and didn't kill it. And I caught him once earlier this year, and the hunter couldn't make it to it.
Oh.
And he could have made it to it. It was only 800 yards. I think he got soft. And he made it 50 yards and never laced his boots up. And I was like, I just don't think I can do it. I'm like, you got to give me more than that.
Yeah.
He's up there, and this lion, I haven't put him in a tree. I've just caught him, on ledges every time. Okay. And last year he knocked a dog off the ledge and collapsed both his lungs.
Ooh.
And so we carried him off the mountain and got him to the vet.
Yeah,
he stayed there for 5 days, yeah. My vet is, he's a saving grace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without him.
Yeah.
He kept the dog for 5 days, and had to do a lung procedure each day.
Jeez.
And he charged me pennies. I'm like, I got to give you more than that.
Yeah, I was just talking to another outfitter, and he was like, my best dog, I have like ridiculous amount of money in keeping that dog alive. But he's like, it's my best dog, so.
It's expensive and it adds up quick. I had one that a bill got to $12,000 like very quick, and then the dog died.
Oof.
It's like, man, you got a payment plan for that? It was okay when I had the dog.
Yeah.
I don't even have the dog. But yeah, this other big lion that he knocked Mickey off the cliff last year, and then this year, he had 3 dogs on the ground pretty bad and tore them up, and that was when that hunter couldn't make it to it. So
that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, your dogs did the job. You did your job.
I would try to give him time to get there. I was like, just sit down and think about it. We'll get you there. It's not a rush. But then when he started beating up on the dogs, if you can't give me more than 50 yards, and I can't let the dogs get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to take care of the dogs.
Oh,
first,
for sure.
So I called the dogs off, and we left. And he calls me at least once a week.
Okay.
He was like, I had the time of my life. I'm ready to come back.
If he was happy about it, then that's good.
Yeah, oh yeah, he calls me all the time. Now he wants to go on a mule deer hunt. I said, man, you're gonna have to be able to walk more than 50 yards.
Was it like a big elevation change?
No, it was 200 yards uphill, like a gradual. I mean, no elevation gain really, just a gradual hill, nothing different than here. And then a flat top. We were able to drive pretty close. Mm-hmm. It was 800 yards from the truck to where they had them paid up.
Yeah.
But,
sounds like my kind of race.
It was perfect, yeah. I had already done it twice because I went and checked on the dogs and then went back to check on him to get him in. Mm-hmm. And it was all dry ground. I didn't never see the track.
Okay.
The dog struck it, and I wanted to make sure it was a good cat before I got him up there. But when I seen what cat it was, I was like, you got to get there. Yeah. And I don't want the dogs to get, hurt.
Exactly.
So I was like, we got to do something. But I just called the dogs off and headed to the vet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we're here at the Great American Outdoor Show. Why don't you introduce yourself?
So my name is Hunter Keating. I'm originally from Virginia.
Okay. I knew it was semi-local.
Yeah. So originally from Eastern Shore, Virginia. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't even know it exists. It's just a little peninsula down there.
Yes.
But as kids, my grandfather had dogs.
Okay.
He had about 30 hounds.
What do you have? What do you run?
We ran deer.
Okay.
So he had big foxhound, big running dogs. Mm-hmm. So right from the time I was in diapers, that's what I got hooked on.
Okay.
This is a hunt club. It was about 40 of us. Mm-hmm. And it was my dad and all his friends, my grandfather's generation, and my dad passed away when I was 4, and so they just kept me going. Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever went to school a full week. Mom would, have me dressed and waiting at the door, and one of Dad's buddies or my grandfather, somebody picked me up. And I don't think I ever went to school a full week.
Sounds like a great childhood.
Yeah, it was great. So we chased deer and rabbits a lot. Mm-hmm. And then when I went to college, coon hunted a lot and hunted bears over in Blacksburg.
Okay, yeah.
Christiansburg area over there.
Virginia Tech?
Yeah. And then I got a job managing a ranch in Montana right out of college. Had no idea where I was going, what I was doing, but I knew the owner and the opportunity was great, so I packed everything up and headed out.
I would have too.
Yeah. So I ended up in Livingston, Montana. And it was a 10,000-acre hunting ranch. He had it just for deer and elk.
Okay.
And he's huge on predator control. So a big part of my job was wolves, coyotes, lions, no trespassers. Mm-hmm. So it was a great job. Loved it. I had only been there a couple weeks, and that was the longest I'd been without dogs.
Okay.
And it was I had the itch, I'm like, I got to figure out how I'm going to convince this guy to let me have some lion dogs.
Well, if he wants you to shoot lions, why not?
So the next day he called me. He's like, hey, Hunter, I want to ask you about this. Like, what do you think about raising some lion dogs? And I got goosebumps. I mean, I was like chilled up. I'm like, Rob, I was going to literally call you tomorrow and ask, like, can we do this? So he was all for it.
That's awesome.
And I was like the son he never had. Like, whatever we need to do on the ranch as far as, predator control or taking care of it, he was like all about it. So I brought dogs from Virginia to Montana. And that was kind of the start of my lion hunting.
Now, what'd you get from Virginia?
One of my fraternity brothers, we were in AGR, and he had these black and tans.
Okay.
But they were great, just good trailing dogs. Mm-hmm. Whereas like a lot of the stuff we had was more of a running style dog.
Yeah.
And so he had really good trailing dogs. So I brought 2 black and tans from Virginia.
Okay.
And he put them on a plane, and I picked them up. They were just tiny little pups, both of them in one crate.
Yeah.
And I get them there and start building kennels and stuff. And there's a couple other houndsmen that live pretty close. So they kind of caught wind, and they knocked on the door, Came and introduced themselves, and we were chatting. He's like, yeah, it'll take you a couple of years to figure out how to lion hunt and catch these lions. And I just nod my head, and I'm like, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd been with hounds my whole life. Now I felt whole again. I was like, these guys don't understand. So I just kind of quiet, did my own thing. And that first season, I think those hounds were responsible for just about every cat in the quota in that area. And that didn't go over really well.
Shocker.
Yeah, so that was me not, I thought I was supposed to be hunting lions, and if I found a track, I'd call a buddy and say, hey, you want to go lion hunting today? And, they're like, yeah, let's go. So
You're doing your job.
The Virginia dogs are still in Montana, still catching lions.
Okay.
I left the ranch after about 2.5 years, and the dogs stayed with the ranch.
Okay.
And then I had other dogs, but those first two were, he had paid to have them there and kind of took care of them and all that. So they stayed with the ranch, and they're still, as far as I know, they're still there. And the
How long ago was that?
It's been about 10 years.
Okay.
10 years ago.
Gotcha.
So as far as I know, that the new ranch manager, he's got 2 young boys.
Nice.
And so, I think they kind of got into the hound side of it and hunting lions. So. So that's where it all started. The Virginia black and tans came to Montana, and it was great. That's what I lived to do is train those dogs. So that's what the local guys didn't understand. They went and had their normal jobs, but
that was your job.
I was training dogs. Yeah. So I did that, and then when I left there, I started guiding, kind of full time. I went to Alaska to guide in Canada, then back to Montana, and then Utah. I made it like a full circuit.
Now, how did you have hounds during that period?
I have a really good friend in Montana. He's got a pretty big ranch.
Okay.
And so whenever I was gone traveling doing that, he takes care of them.
Gotcha.
He still does. Like if I go to Alaska to hunt, he'll take care of them. So it's hard to find somebody to take care of them.
Oh yeah.
Well,
especially it's not 1 or 2 dogs. You got a pack of dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. So and the attention to detail. Like anybody can go feed and water a dog, but it's the little things that go a long way. So.
Yeah.
But I just had that hound trailer made. It's 16 kennels on wheels.
Okay.
So now I can hook up to that and I can pull it anywhere.
Drive it anywhere.
I pull it across the country a few times. So wherever I'm hunting,
there you go.
16 kennels. It's pretty nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So obviously you said you started with the black and tans, but you're not hunting black and tans now. So what do you got now?
No. So from there, I started. I guided for a couple other guys. A guy in Colorado, Steve Bickerstaff.
Okay, yeah.
He's got a great operation. Awesome dogs, just really good trailing dogs. I worked down in southern Utah and met some guys down there. And I've been pretty lucky because the hound world, everybody's got their opinion on dogs, right? Especially their own dogs.
Really?
Everyone
didn't notice that.
Everyone's dogs are the best, and I'm the opposite, right? I see the whole picture. Like everyone's dogs have good qualities, but if you can bring those together, then you might have an exceptional dog.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty lucky with the guys that I've worked with and hunted with to breed these dogs where they probably would never make those crosses face to face, but over the years, and
kennel blindness can be a fault. That's for sure.
Yeah, blindness to the whole thing, color and all kinds of things. Crazy, the size. It's people don't understand. It's more to it. It's not the color, the size, or what. But so I've been lucky. I have some of Steve's dogs and Tyler Bowler's dogs down in southern Utah, and Hunter Meekham's got some great dogs. So I've been pretty blessed with being able to make crosses. Hunter and I have made a couple different crosses. And,
nice.
They've worked out great. We have a couple right now. I have 2 that they're a year and a half. They'll trail a lion in the dirt just as good as like my 5 and 6-year-old dogs.
Wow, that's impressive for young dogs.
Just last week I was watching them and just watching them trail in front of my lead dogs in my mind, and I'm watching them trail and they're hitting the track first and I'm watching and then those older dogs come right in behind them and they were right and honest the whole time, caught the lion. So I love breeding these dogs and trying to make the best dog because there isn't the perfect cross. It's like
there's never going to be a perfect dog.
I'm always trying to figure out the perfect buggy to get around the mountains. There's not one perfect buggy. There's not one perfect dog. It's
every situation changes, and then a different dog might shine in a certain situation, a certain condition.
And that's another big thing is a lot of guys get stuck hunting in the same area. They'll hunt their home mountain or their home unit. It's like, man, there's a big country out here. I've hunted from Maine or from Montana all the way down to New Mexico and everything in between. I love just going to hunt new country and figuring it out. And
Yeah.
it opens up so much. I don't know how guys hunt the same area, day after day or year after year. It's like, man, I got to go.
You got to find something new.
Yeah. Just new cats, new country. And to me, that makes a really good dog.
Yeah.
I hunted up in northern Idaho. I went up there blind. I had 54 dogs total that I was camping with. We camped for 3 months. And it was not what I expected. It was wet. It rained every day. It was giant.
Especially coming from Utah.
Oh, it was wild, man. And I had to go. I was driving like 3 hours to get houses. I had to get a house for 54 dogs while we were camped. I had barrels and I had a trailer I would pull them on.
Yeah.
But, those conditions there are totally different than, southern Utah or up in Montana. It was totally different. It was like the true Pacific Northwest compared to what I was used to. But to me, hunting new country like that makes a dog. You can't just hunt the same areas, the same mountains. You catch the same cat, the dogs figure out the cats get trained and the dogs get trained on the cat. I love hunting new country and being able to give the dogs a variety.
So are you running HK Hounds? Is that what you do full time?
Full time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing that full time now for probably about 6 years.
Okay.
5 or 6 years. And it started out just doing the hound side of it. See, in Montana, it's hard to get an outfitting license. I had guided, I've been guiding since I was 16. That's kind of what that's what I've done. My uncle had an outfitting business.
Okay.
And so that's where I got started. I was 16, just this young kid. I'm looking back, I'm like, what were these hunters thinking, guiding these guys. We did a lot of waterfowl hunts.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure for being Eastern Shore.
Yeah. And, man, that's a wild, it was, hunting on the water like that, big water is dangerous too. It's some pretty wild stories, but that's where I got started.
You're 16 and out there.
Yeah.
The one in charge.
Yeah, I'd been doing it full time, the hounds. It started out just the hound side. I was going to train dogs because in Montana you couldn't get a outfitting license. You had to buy someone out, which is really just buying a piece of paper for whatever the price value that outfitter wanted. You could be $500,000 into it and really have nothing except your permitted area with small quotas. So pretty hard to make a living doing that. But the training side of it was pretty neat. So I initially started, I was training other guys' dogs. And I quickly learned that guys have hound dogs, but they're not a working hound. They're more of a family dog. These guys' dogs that I was training, I'm like, you sure you want this? Like, this doesn't seem to be a hunting dog. And I would hunt them and get them pretty tuned in. I did everything I could, and then they'd get home, and the owner would call me like, oh yeah, I can tell you, were you getting up at about 4 o'clock? My dogs are ready to go at 4. And the owners weren't taking them hunting after I'd been like busting my butt to train their dogs. I think it was more of a social aspect or just a status or something. Like, I did everything I could to make a good hound, and then they just take them home and leave them in the kennel or in the house. Yeah. And so then that's when I switched to breeding more of my own. Okay. And knowing that you had to, potential of a great hound because the breedings and genetics and everything was there. Yeah,
versus just some random bred hound that somebody brings you.
Yeah, these guys, who knows? This guy brought me 2 black and tans. I swear I think they were Dobermans. They had some kind of Doberman in them. They showed up with this black rhinestone collar on and like a leather collar. They were mean. They weren't hound. They were half houndy, but they weren't hound dogs. They weren't what I was looking for. So after doing that for a couple of years, I decided to breed more of my own. That good genetics and good quality and good things that you're looking for, and train those dogs, and then try to put those in actual hunting homes rather than people that thought it was a cool thing to do, because there's a lot of that.
No, there's a lot of outfitters out there that they do a lot of deer and elk and other stuff, so it's like they need hounds, but they don't have the time and capacity to train hounds and make hounds. Right. And it's a lot easier to keep one tuned up than to take it from nothing to that. So
Yeah, and so I sell quite a few dogs, including puppies and stuff. Probably like 20, 25 dogs a year.
Okay.
At least. And the puppies, the price value for a hound dog might seem higher than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But here people are buying these poodles and other little dogs for more. That's
Thousands.
just a couch dog. It's like
Yep.
what you're getting here is a good bred, like well genetics, a good, feet, nose, all the qualities that go into a dog. And you have it here in one package. So it's like, yeah, it's a little bit more, but if you take it and hunt it, it might be one of the best dogs you have.
Exactly.
Guys will ask, they say, I joke with them, they said, can you guarantee this pup? And I said, yeah, I'll guarantee you. I said, you're going to have to wake up and you're going to have to take him hunting. I said, he's not going to take you hunting just because you paid for him. You got to go hunt him. I said, if you go hunt this dog, you now have the possibility of having a really good dog.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you can't guarantee him. You got to go hunt.
So in the coonhound world, there's been a lot of price fluctuation in the last few years, and especially some of these real high. You can win thousands and $100,000 on a coon hunt. So they breed these high-end these dogs that have won hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then they want $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for a puppy, and people balk at it, but yet they typically sell.
Yeah. And
it's like, but the people that spend $2,000 on a coonhound puppy, they're not going to let that dog sit in a pen.
Right. That's
the guy that buys a coonhound puppy for $200.
You don't know what that dog's going to do.
Yeah, that dog might be in a pen or tied out back for its entire life.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, You could sell a whole lot more dogs if you drop that price, but that's not what I'm in the business to do. Like you said, the guy that spends the money on it, he's going to go to a good home. He's going to have a nice kennel. He's going to get the opportunity to hunt.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend that money and then see him sit there. Like
exactly.
It'll always be in the back of their head. That's I spent a lot of money on him. Like, let's hunt him today. Yeah. They definitely the price has definitely changed, even in the lion hunting world.
Okay.
You got guys that are kind of more like backyard breeders and stuff that they don't even hunt enough to know what their dogs are. They're still breeding dogs and putting a pretty good price tag on just having some dogs. But like you said, the quality goes a long way. It's everything to me.
Sure.
The genetics.
Yeah.
Just why when you have a good bred dog, they click. 6 months they should be rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And they got guys calling and say, "Hey, I need like a started 2-year-old." I'm like, not here.
Yeah.
If it's 2, that dog's been under a lot of trees. That's not going to be a started dog. It's not going to be a started price tag anyways. Like I said, these ones I have right now, 1.5 years, and they'll catch a lion by themselves in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like and most guys, 80% of them hunt the snow regardless.
Yeah.
They might say they hunt dry ground, but maybe if there's like a burn off hillside or something, but they're not going and looking for tracks in the dirt.
Yeah.
I
would say, just from what I've followed you on Instagram and stuff, you catch, I would say, majority of your cats in dirt, right?
Yeah, so this year, it's kind of funny. I haven't seen a snowflake all year. It has not snowed one time. No moisture. It's dry. My truck, usually hunt out of side-by-sides and four-wheelers and stuff and hike canyons, but just getting to where I've been hunting, my truck is like a dust bowl. It's been so dry and dusty, but I haven't seen any snow all year.
Jeez.
But that's been a good year. The dogs look better this year than every year. They get just a little bit better. It's humbling, you just sit back and watch them do their thing. We're a team. I go with them probably 80% of the time. I turn them loose. I stick with them as best I can. I stick with them until I can't keep up. And when I can't keep up, then they're moving pretty good. And now we'll figure out how we're going to hopefully get to the tree. But I spend a lot of time with them and learning the country and seeing where the lions are. And that goes a long way. Some guys will just, especially in the snow, you can just dump them out of the truck, send them on, and hope they catch it. But you don't get to learn everything in between.
Exactly.
So you learn a lot where cats are living, how they're living. And it helps the dogs. It helps them keep moving that track when it's tough.
Yeah.
They were definitely a team. Yeah.
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well. For where you live, I would say a lot of guys in your area, I mean, just general area, like down the Utah and New Mexico and Arizona, hunt off of mules or horseback. You ever do any of that?
A little bit, but not a ton.
Okay.
A lot of guys do, but to get to a lot of the places I hunt, you can't get trailer up there. You can't.
Okay.
I mean, you could ride up there, but then it adds just a whole nother layer. And I've hunted a lot off horseback in Alaska.
Okay.
We guided sheep, Dall sheep, moose, caribou, and grizzly bears up there. And for me, it's a whole nother aspect. Right now you got the dogs, the clients. You got to keep all them happy. I do the cooking. I do everything. So to add another layer to it, now taking care of horses and mules, for me, I don't have, like a father to help or brothers or anybody. It's just me, and good help's hard to come by.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a huge asset, in a lot of the country, but for where I'm hunting, it's not totally necessary.
Okay.
But yeah, we used to take 25 horses. We'd drive them from Montana to Alaska.
Wow.
And then basically pull off the side of the highway, and we'd ride in about 30 miles and set up our camp, and then a pilot would fly our hunters in.
Okay.
They rotate every 10 days. But, man, you get guys that have never ridden before. And
Oh, yeah.
especially in that rocky country. And
yeah,
it's just dangerous. See, at least in Alaska, when they'd fall off, it wasn't – and they'd ride their saddle right off a horse. I mean, they didn't even know how to stay up. I mean, they were clueless. They'd close their eyes and hold on to the horn and hope for the best.
That's pretty funny.
It's not. Yeah, it wasn't. It worked, but it's a whole nother layer.
Yeah.
But the rocks and cliffs and I don't know. They better stay on their feet.
Yeah.
For me. But,
makes sense. I understand.
Yeah.
How many cats a year do you think you catch?
So I'd say on average about 70.
Okay.
At least about 70 cats in a year. And we don't kill, we might kill 10.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys ask, like, well, how many hunts do you take, or how many cats? Everybody thinks outfitters are killing all the cats. Well, a hunt has a price value, but that's just a number. That's just money, really. That's not why I do it. I'd rather take fewer hunters and be able to catch a cat more often.
Yeah.
Than to go run a bunch of hunters and then have no cats.
Yeah.
Well, then you're out of luck.
Exactly. So you can have the gangbuster year and make a bunch of money, but then
you're done.
The next 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, until you get some more cats that move in and repopulate the area,
and it takes a while. I mean, they're not breeding like a coyote.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a slow cycle. But just to be able to go catch a lion and train dogs, there's more value in a hound than a hunt. A dog, to be able to train a dog and have a nice dog is definitely, to me, it's got a whole lot more value than just sitting, taking hunters through and killing cats. But
yeah,
let's say out of 70 cats a year, maybe kill 10.
Gotcha.
And that's a pretty big area too. You definitely don't want to go kill a bunch in one spot, but
no.
You stretch it out over a large area, it doesn't really it doesn't hurt them too bad.
Yeah.
I think more and more people, hopefully this year, are getting on board of not killing females. So
yeah,
some guys are still doing it. And I learned there's a big outfit in Utah that I had always seen them killing these smaller cats and stuff, and I never really understood it. And then I heard that actually from one of their guides, they got paid more. Basically, all the money went in a pot, and then if they killed the first day, there's more money in the pot. Because if by the 5th day, that money in the pot went to fuel and food and everything in between. So by the 5th day, their pot got pretty small. There's not much money to go around. But if they kill on the first day, then that's why they were killing these young cats, just to get them tagged out and get them out of there.
Jeez.
So yeah, people are too money hungry to hunt cats. That's the wrong sport to.
Yeah.
elk and deer and other animals that can have a higher number or reproduce quicker.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but cats don't reproduce like that. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You catch a lot of bobcats as well, or?
Yeah. To be honest, I love lions. I love hunting lions and being with them. A lot of guys love a bobcat, and I get off on a bigger cat.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, if there's a fresh bobcat, I'll go catch it. But
okay.
Especially when I was in Montana, those guys were like, well, one bobcat's worth 5 lions because their track is so much harder. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Because it's knee-deep snow all year. And
yeah.
Those lions are pretty easy to catch, but when you go hunt them down in the harder country, it's tough. It's not easy. Yeah, I just had a gentleman come up here to the booth yesterday. Last year, he was all fired up. I think he's got 3 hounds, and he was going to be a houndsman.
Okay.
He just came by yesterday, and he looked wore out. He said, man, that lion hunting, that's tough. I'm like, I told you. I was like, it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was humbled in 1 year. He was like, I don't know about this. He said the vet bills he said, this is hard. I don't know if he even caught a cat, but
yeah.
He came over and super nice guy. He was humbled pretty quick. He's like, it's not easy. Like, nope.
No. It's not, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You got any more good stories?
Ooh.
I have to publicly say, you have probably the coolest cat mount right here above our heads. And I posted a picture of it on Instagram last year. How tall is that tree?
So it's a funny story. So Kanati, they do all of our mounts, and Wes owns the taxidermy, and I asked him to make me a mount that I basically left the ball in his court. I said, just make me, do what you think would be a good lion mount to have here and at the show. And so he called me like a week before the show, and he said, hey, do you have tall ceilings in your house? I said, no, not really. He said, oh, well, when I did your mount, I put it stands about 14 feet in the air. I'm like, Wes, I definitely don't have 14-foot ceilings in my house, So he brings it down here to me standing up like that, and I'm like, man, where am I going to put this thing? So last year I had him make another base that he's 14 feet in the air the way he is. But it works great here because
it brings so much attention because it's kind of up above everything.
It's real life too. In Utah where I hunt, there's not a lot of trees.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say, look, this is a representation of your size of cat and a potential tree. I've caught them in trees just like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I'm not. You look at some guys, they got elk and lions and stuff that aren't expectation. They're just so big, or it's a once in a lifetime elk or once in a lifetime lion. And I've worked for outfitters like that. It's like, man, why do you have a 400-inch bull in the lodge when there's, we're hunting 300-inch bulls or something. It's like you're setting the bar pretty high for your clients, and that makes us look bad. We're guiding. It might be a 320 bull. That might be the biggest bull on the mountain. Yeah. But in the lodge, there's a 400-inch bull. So this works out good because that cat, that was like 148.
Okay.
So not a giant cat.
No, but it's a nice cat.
But yeah, it's real. That's your representation of a tom and a potential tree that you'd catch it in. So yeah.
Which is obvious. You've got some great photography as well around here, and some of these photos, you can see that these cats aren't super high off the ground.
Yeah, so like I said, I've hunted all over, and that's what I love is you don't know unless you go out and do it and hunt different areas. I'd have never known how great it was to hunt lower country. I'd hunt where there's no trees, hunt just in the rocks, and I love this area where I'm hunting now just because you're right up with them. You're not. Montana, that lion would be 30, 40 feet in a tree. You have to look up there and be like, I think it's a good one. But where we are now, you're right in their face. Yeah. You really get to enjoy it. And the dogs, it gets the younger dog fired up pretty quick.
I'm sure.
They're not, it's funny. You get guys up in Montana like, well, you don't have great tree dogs because, the lions are so low, or, it's like, or good locating dogs. I'm like, man, I've hunted that. Dude, Yeah, you can't just judge off of one area, you know. Like I said, you got to go hunt more places and see more. But yeah, the dogs are. We couldn't do it without the dogs. But
so how many do you have right now?
Right now I got 16.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a lot more manageable than the 50 you took.
Yeah, I had a guy helping me with 50, but yeah, we would load all 50 of them. There was just so many bears. It was unreal. If you went 5 miles from camp, you went too far. You better turn around, because there was a bear between.
Oh yeah.
You passed them. There was just so many bears.
So does your pack of hounds run bears too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll run bears, and the guys will joke, say, "Well, you don't have any plot dogs in here. How do you catch a bear?" I'm like, yeah, they'll do it. The guy that came and helped me there, he was a true bear hunter from Georgia, and he had a couple plots, and they were bulldogs. I mean, they were gritty, mean dog. I mean, they wanted that bear.
Yeah.
He said the same thing. He's like, I don't know about these soft lion dogs you got, and yeah, we had a heck of a time. There was a ton of bear.
Now, do you run bear down at home or?
I still hunt lions just all year, and then I'll go hunt bear, here and there. I got a buddy from West Virginia that I met years ago buying dogs. Mm-hmm. He came out and bought a couple dogs, and we became like best friends.
Yeah.
And
he's been on the podcast.
Yeah. So him and I are super tight, and he got me going down to New Mexico with him. And so yeah, that's definitely a new yearly tradition for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, he's got a couple black dogs too.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of everything.
He does. Pack. Yeah. Yeah. I think he jokes. I think his wife likes those plots.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't mind a brindle dog. I like it better than a white dog.
Oh, no, don't say that.
There's nothing white in my kennel.
There's a guy in Montana. He runs all black and tans on lions, and I joke with him. I said, I'm going to send you a white dog up there. He's probably got 8 or 10, good-looking black and tans. Yeah. For me, like where I'm hunting now, they don't really have what I'm looking for, but it's a great dog for up there,
A good dog's a good dog.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get one more story at least.
Oh, let's see. Oh, what have we been hunting? Let me just pick a picture, tell the story. All right, there's a picture of this gentleman right here. I met him when I was probably about 20 years old.
Okay.
And I was guiding him on a duck hunt. And he's a mountain man. He was a big coon hunter. Okay. But his boss brought him on a duck hunt. And his name's Martin. And I didn't know him. I met him that night. We were going duck hunting in the morning. And my uncle was wild. And it was a terrible storm, wind below. It was just nasty. We went out across some big water in these john boats, and should have never been there, but we did it. And this guy was cussing me. He's like, "You take me back to the dock." He said, "I don't care if I ever see a duck." He said, "You got to get me out of here." He was not a water guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, we hit it off, and he had coon dogs and had bear hunted quite a bit, and just a good guy. And I got talking to him about my lion hunts and stuff. He said, "Well, I want to go lion hunting with you." I'm like, "Dang, I almost killed you today, but now you want to go lion hunting." So I'm like, "All right." I was like, "Let's go." So that winter he came out and they found a track early, and it was like I thought it was a day old track. It didn't look real fresh, I didn't have high hopes, but it was a big track. He said, "Well, just do whatever you would do if I wasn't here." I was like, "Well, I'd hunt that lion." I said, "But we might end up on a wild goose chase like the first time we hunted together. I almost killed you once, and now I don't know what's going to happen. We're lion hunting now." He's like, "Let's do it." So anyways, he trusted me. We waited till crack light before we turned dogs loose, and it was a slow grind. They were just trailing. It was old as I thought, and they just picked away and trailed, and they went all the way up to the top, up to the ridge, and then just came screaming down the mountain, coming right to us. Sound like a perfect trash race, and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "Oh God, this doesn't look good." And they're coming right back to us. I'm like, "What in the world?" And then they pull up treed. And they're treed like 100 yards off the road. He's like, "What just happened?" I'm like, And I can hear them all. They're hammering. They're looking at him. I'm like, but in my mind, I'm thinking that something doesn't sound right.
We got like an elk bait or something.
Something's a little funny. And so my biggest thing is trusting the dogs. I was like, I'm not going to say much because something's not adding up, but I'm just going to trust the dog. So we walked in there, and sure enough, they had this lion treed.
Okay.
And so I actually went up, and I hiked all the way to the top, and that lion had a kill. Mm-hmm. So it was an old track going to its kill.
Yeah. And
then that lion was on it, and they ran him off of it.
Gotcha.
So it was an old track, slow going, and then a jumped race they got up on top. So, yeah, it was. And then him and I, now we've hunted all over. He's shot this elk right here, and we're lifelong friends. Yeah, he helped me build the booth. And
nice.
But, yeah, I met him. I was probably 20 and nearly killed him on a duck hunt. And now we hunt all over.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good lion.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That top one up there he shot that beginning of COVID. I had COVID when we hunted that. My mom wouldn't let me come home for Christmas. She's like, I think you better just stay out there. Got the kids here, and we don't want to get everybody sick. So I'm like, all right. So I called my buddy, and it's like, come on, let's go lion hunting. I got COVID, and he's like, well, I don't care. I've already had it. He's like, I'll go hunting with you. So he flew out, and anyways, that's probably one of the biggest cats I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
And I when I had COVID, it just took the life out. I just couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
It was only for like a day or two, but I told him, I said, man, I feel like a wimp. I can hardly hike off of this mountain with this lion. But that's probably one of the biggest lions I've been a part of.
Yeah.
That was during COVID.
He looks like he's got a belly full too.
Yeah. And Kanati did that mountain, and it's amazing. It's cool. It's in their book. It's like one of their first lions that they open up.
That's pretty cool.
Cool cat. Yeah.
They do good work, that's for sure.
Cats are hard to do, and there's a lot of guys that do them, but for me, and it's like dogs. I'm not biased. I just try to see the whole picture of them,
Yeah.
Other guys do decent cats, but when you see them in person, to me, they've got it. They've got it figured out.
No, I agree.
I love them. If I could have more, I'd have more.
Like that one leopard they have over there this year is pretty freaking cool.
So that'll be similar to this next one I'm getting done. So that tom, it'll be like a snag, like a tree, kind of like that. And then that tom will be standing up there, and then that female will be kind of laying underneath of him.
That'll be a cool mount.
Yeah, I love that.
I look forward to seeing it. Yeah. So. But the show's about to start, so I want to hold you up. Thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with me.
Yeah, thank you.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.